No, 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 no! Wait! Hey, Uncle Chimpus here. Today I'm continuing a challenge run where my only source of damage is the Staff of Scamp. It doesn't shoot fireballs, it doesn't deal massive damage. It only summons 4 useless minions. No swords, no bows, no destruction magic, no other damage sources except the Staff of Scamp itself. And of course the minions that it creates. But here's the catch. If one of them dies, I die as well. Master difficulty, 0 backup damage, and I have to keep every single one of these minions alive. This is an escort quest from hell. Alright, let's start off with a quick recap. We woke up in prison, the Emperor got assassinated, we got our staff from Leowin, the 4 scamps turned out to be absolutely useless, and we had to raise Illusion and Restoration just to control them and buff them. We robbed the Mages Guild blind, and leave the citizens of Jadenhall and Skingrad starving. We managed to close our first Oblivion gate, and we saved the son of the Emperor. Okay, now that everyone's caught up, let's continue. Okay, this time around we'll be infiltrating a cult. We'll help out one of the Daedra. We're also going to do some folding and hopefully finish the game. But first, to join the cult, we meet up with Boris in the Imperial City, and he tells us to find some books that could help us find the cult.
Finding them won't be easy.
And 5 minutes later, we already have the first 3 volumes. And to get the 4th one, we go to the sewers. There are a lot of enemies here, and they are dangerous to our scamps. So I let Boris do most of the work. We make it to the Mythic Dawn meeting spot, and we help Boris take care of the Mythic Dawn agents. And for that we receive the 4th volume of the Mythic Dawn commentaries. After that, we bring the complete set of volumes to the Arcane University, and after a few days of waiting, we get a hint that we should go to the Imperial Garden District, and that at noon, the location of the Mythic Dawn cult should be revealed. And here comes the part I was dreading all this time. Now that we know the secret base of the Mythic Dawn, we are right here, and now we're going to have our items confiscated, as we're not going to be let in otherwise. And I'm not sure whether the Staff of Scamp is going to be confiscated as well. Well, it looks like he let me keep the staff, so that's good. But it seems like the scamps are not following me inside. I'll try to wait for some time. I don't think the cultists will mind. It seems they're not showing up, so they probably can't enter this cave. I think I'll wait for a whole day. Maybe that will help. And they are still not appearing. I guess we're on our own then. I think this should be doable, even without the scamps. But let's see. So after his whole boring speech is done, I'm going to have to steal the book from the altar, and then I'll have to try to escape, but I don't remember where exactly the exit is. Alright, let's go for it. After I take the book, everyone should turn aggressive, so I'll have to run. Alright, I only died like a couple of times, but we made it out at least. And we finally have our scamps, thank god. Some of them will probably follow me in here. It looks like I'll be able to take care of them if they come at me one by one, but if several of them spawn, I might be in trouble. Oh, the guy that had my stuff is also here. I already assumed my items were lost. I guess I won't need to do more grinding then. Alright, all of this turned out to be a lot easier than expected. Okay, let's go back to Martin. Everyone probably knows this by now, but if you hang out at the Cloud Ruler Temple and watch these 2 guys sparring, you're going to have your block and blade skill increased. It's not like we need these skills increased, but still, I wanted to show it for the people who don't know this whole interaction. Back in the Cloud Ruler Temple, we're told that there are some spies near the fortress and we have to take care of them. This quest is relatively easy and doesn't give us any trouble. After that, Martin informs us that he needs a Daedric artifact to open a portal to Paradise. And there are a lot of Daedric artifacts in game, so which one are we going to go for? I mentioned this in the last video, but we want to keep our level as low as possible, as our scamps don't scale with our level and will only get weaker if we level up. So we're going to go for the Daedric artifact that has the lowest level requirement to get, which is the Azura Star. But before we do that, for the first time in our journey, we have to go to sleep and to level up. Now that we're level 2, our enemies should be a bit tougher now. So let's go check whether my scamps are strong enough to hold their own against these enemies. We make our way to the Azura Shrine. Azura requires us to go to a nearby cave and to deal with the vampires therein. Sounds simple enough. The first pack of enemies that we faced in the cave were cleared out relatively okay. But after that, we got stuck. We had to fight multiple vampires at the same time, and my scamps just kept dying. So I finally had to utilize some of the more overpowered spells that I made before. Well, they're not that strong, but they're definitely stronger than what the base game provides. So let me explain how they work. Both of the spells that I'm going to use utilize spell stacking. It's a mechanic relying on weakness to magic. Only harmful effects are modified by your magic resistance or weakness, and the spell becomes harmful when you include a damaging effect into it. And even if the spells are the same in terms of effects, if their name is different, their effects will stack. So if I continuously keep on casting these two spells one after the other on my scamps, all the beneficial effects listed in the spell will get stronger, but all of these spells in terms of mana can get really expensive, so I'm unable to do this an unlimited amount of times. All of this also requires some prep time, so I can't do it spontaneously, and if there are any friendly NPCs nearby, they will become aggressive, so I can't use the spell anywhere. So yeah, this spell has some limiting factors to it. But just look how tankier my scamps are. So after all of this spell stacking, we're able to clear the cave, and I think we're going to be relying on this spell combination a lot more from now on. After we return to the Azura Shrine, she rewards us with her star. We bring this Daedric artifact back to Martin and immediately get thrown into another quest, because of course an Oblivion gate opened near Bruma. Remember how I said you can't use the spell anywhere you want to? Well, as we're clearing this Oblivion gate, we're going to have some follower NPCs. And if we cast the spell near them, they will get aggressive. So to make our lives a little bit easier, same as with Boris, we let the guards do most of the work. And when we reach the base of the tower, we let the guards hang out and help for a bit. And we go on to clear the tower on our own. But even with spell stacking, we suffer a few deaths, and after a little while, we make it to the top of the tower. This time, it's much easier than with Watch. We're not able to pick the sigil stone on our own, so we have to come back for the guards. We bring them to the top and show them how to close the gate. Now, in terms of quests, we have a branching path that we are going to mostly ignore. One of the quests is to retrieve the armor of Tiber Septim, and the other one is to gather reinforcements for the Battle of Ruma to come. I do attempt a couple of the gates. I do the one in Shading Hall, and that doesn't require much effort, but I don't even bother with the other ones after seeing what the Leowen gate has to offer. Clearing all of those gates when our scams directly target some of the traps would just take a bunch of time, so I just didn't bother. And we go on to retrieve the armor of Tiber Septim himself. We bring this artifact back to Martin, and we immediately get sent on another fetch quest. We go to an Aelid ruin near Skingrad, and this dungeon turns out to be pretty difficult. The scamps are extremely bad for dealing with ranged enemies, and also enemies they cannot reach. And this did happen in the past in the other dungeons, but not as much as in this one. My scamps would just sometimes stand on platforms where they could be shot to pieces by the ranged enemies, or sometimes they would just not participate in combat and just look at one of the walls. So this dungeon took a lot more effort than the other ones in terms of managing my scamps. I also noticed another issue. If I spell stack too much and my spell has a speed fortification modifier, my scamps will just zoom away from me and I won't be able to see whether they died or not. And the last problem is that in certain sections they wouldn't even be able to follow me. So I had to run past all of the enemies even though they could one-shot me. So all of these problems caused me to die like 30 times, more or less. But we finally make it to the Varla Stone. A lich appears, we defeat it, and we make our way to Martin once again. After bringing back the Great Velvet Stone, the time finally comes for the great battle outside of Bruma. And we're not going to have many reinforcements for this battle, as we skipped most of the quests needed to get them. But somehow the NPCs absolutely handled the Daedra on their own. Honestly, they're heroes. And after a huge Oblivion gate opens, we have to make our way inside of it. Besides the bad thing of my scamps and the time limit, we didn't have many issues here. We make it to the top of the tower with a few minutes to spare, and retrieve the sigil stone. With the stone secured, Martin opens the portal to Mankar's paradise. This is it. This is the final stretch. Except, my scamps do not follow me inside the portal. No matter how long I wait, no matter how many times I reload, they just refuse to spawn. That means I'm on my own again, and that's for the second time this run. Now technically, I could beat Mankar. You get a temporary NPC follower here, and I could just buff them and let them do all the damage. But that just feels wrong. The entire point of this run is that I cannot deal damage, only the Ever Scamps can. So is the run over? No. We're going to cheat. Well, not in spirit, but by utilizing the old mechanics that Oblivion had. In the original Oblivion, there was a way to get inside the Temple of the One that's located in the Imperial City and skip to the end of the game. That's what I tried to do. I made a spell that would boost my Scamp acrobatic skill, and then I would drain the skill to jump on top of the temple. And after a few attempts, I did just that. And surprisingly, there was actual collision data there, so I couldn't get inside the temple just by doing that. I tried to utilize the paralysis effect to phase through the wall, and together with a consumable item that paralyzes us, we managed to get inside the temple. By opening the weirdly clipped door inside the ground, we're sent straight to the final stage of the main quest, but the scamps still didn't appear. Well, they can't die here at least. We step outside to trigger the main quest, and after coming back to the temple and waiting a little bit, Martin appears, and that triggers the final quest cutscene. And just like that, the game is finished. Was it clean? Absolutely not. But that was the only solution I could technically find that wouldn't violate the rules. I never dealt damage. The scams may not have been at the end, but this was always the run.